Dean McDermott's ex, Mary Jo Eustance, is calling out Tori Spelling, basically slamming her as a desperate housewife. We have another Kardashian Jenner pregnancy, maybe. And Jeannie Mai from The Real, her divorce is getting real messy. Let's get into it. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What up, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Happy Friday. We normally don't go live on Fridays, but like I said, since I was in, I had to take a quick little dip over to Arizona. We're making up for an episode. It is going to have to be a bit of a shorter episode because I do have to run out. I have a family engagement immediately after this. But thank you for spending your Friday morning with me. Also, if you are a member, if you're part of the members only on No Filter Plus, or if you're a Zack Pack member, there's a new members only. If you are a member on YouTube, then you already have access to that. And if you are a member of No Filter Plus, you'll get that later this afternoon to kind of break up this episode and that episode. But lots of tea in that one, right? We have a Bravo lab that is allegedly pregnant. We have some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills casting tea that I spilled in that as well. Some Traitors US season 3 casting tea that I spilled, letting you know who's doing Traitors season 3, who might be preggers. A little bit of info that I got on Kyle and Morgan Wade. If you're interested in Morgan Wade, I'm gonna make you fall in love with me. So all of that, lots of tea and members only. We packed in a lot of stuff in just about an hour. So bonus episode this week, members only. So you can become a member of No Filter Plus on Apple Podcasts, or you can become a member and get the full video episodes on YouTube. You can become a Zack Pack member on YouTube. But yeah, you got that. My whole week was off because the changes in Zack's lives. Okay, we only skipped 2 days and we're making up for it now, Sarah. Thank you. Good morning. Okay, well, I guess should we start with? Do we want to start with Tori Spelling? Ooh, she is getting dogged out, you guys. Well, actually, let's start with Kylie Jenner because there are the rumors about the baby daddy. So she's dating Timothy Chalamet, right? He has the curly hair. He was in Call Me by Your Name with Armie Hammer, and Armie Hammer's trying to eat his ribs, amongst other things. And most recently, he's in, what is it, Dune? Is that what it's called? Dune with Zendaya, which she's looking fire lately. Zendaya is her outfits, like her style, like boom. She is killing it. Good for her. But she was talking about, she's like, but now I can't go to the grocery store anymore because it's just so hard to be famous. It's so hard to be famous. Well, it's like you can't, I mean, I get it. You pursue fame and you want fame, and then finally you get fame, and then you're just like, I can't do it anymore. Listen, you just have to go full Kardashian, right? Well, I guess the Jenner girls have kind of, they're a little more I don't want to say resistant, but they're a little more frugal with their lives and what they put out there. Like everyone's like, oh my God, not Kylie, Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker. Are they dating? Aren't they dating? We don't know. We haven't confirmed. They're posting photos, but then we hear that they're not really dating, but then we hear that they are really dating, and she won't confirm anything. And there's all this speculation. I enjoy speculation. People speculate about my life. I just think it's funny. And sometimes I like to troll you guys. But Kylie is not pregnant. She is shutting down those rumors. She went on her Instagram to show that her tummy is flat. She's taking that flat tummy tea. I don't know if she's really drinking the tea, but her tummy is flat. She's got that Ozempic tummy. So she wants to make it very clear that she is not pregnant. So she wants to shut down those rumors. Timothy did not knock her up. Knocked up, they won't let her out. They're letting her out of the house now because she ain't pregnant. When we know that's when she stays in the house is when she gets pregnant. But like I said, there is a Bravo lab that is pregnant. There was some tea that was spilled. That was given to me based off of a specific East Coast Bravo lab. So just know there is a bit of that tea that you can get. And like the details behind it too, right? because I also feel like I heard a lot of tea. So just know there's a lot of tea to be heard. I'm trying to see if there are. I was all right. Sorry, I was trying to research something that wasn't coming up. But anyway, that's all in members only. Kylie's not pregnant. Tori. Let's talk about Tori Spelling. So she is getting slammed, like literally slammed by Dean McDermott's ex-wife, Mary Jo Eustance. Okay. Mary Jo, throw it back, uh, not Kris Jenner's mama, MJ, but Mary Jo Eustance was at this. It was a rejuvenation center in West Hollywood, Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center. They had an grand opening in WeHo. Okay. Lots of people went. Oh, look at Stacy in the live chat says members only was great last night. See, finally, last week we had a solid episode. This week we're having a solid members only episode. So there you go. Ride with me through the rough weeks because we still have some good weeks. Okay. But so she was at this thing. Brandy Glanville was there. Phaedra was there. I had a few of my friends that were there, like my friend Jacques, who writes for the Daily Mail, my friend Evan, who writes for Page Six. So this actually is coming from Evan's article because he got an interview with Mary Jo, and she basically called out Tori Spelling for being desperate. So they asked her about her podcast because you know how Tori Spelling went on her podcast, and that was basically, it was basically like her announcing her divorce, but also informing Dean about the divorce as well, because she wanted to make sure that he heard about it first. But then she was recording it for, you know, she was recording it for her first podcast episode. And her podcast has been a hot mess express. Like every week, it's like a disaster, like Tori Spelling disaster life, right? Not even disaster date. It's just like disaster life. She had Shannon Doherty on the podcast this week, which I listened to going and coming from Arizona. And I like Shannon Doherty. You know, I very much enjoy Shannon Doherty. She's very contrarian. I do in listening to her and kind of like listening to her podcast, now listening to her on Tori's podcast. I'm going to say something that's a little unpopular. I believe all the shit that the media used to say about Shannon Doherty in the past. Okay. Now, I think Shannon Doherty has evolved. I think she's just, I wouldn't even say a rebel without a cause. I think she's just a tough chick, right? She's strong. She's got grit. She's got drive. She's got perseverance. You know, she's tenacious. I think she's a real tough cookie, and she's somebody that's not going to buckle, right? Now, we see Shannon Doherty now, strong, cancer survivor, tough chick, right? However, you combine those qualities with somebody in their early 20s. In our early 20s is when we have our biggest ego, right? That's when the ego really kind of clouds our judgment and who we are. So when it comes to Shannon Doherty, I think that she really was, you know, she had a big ego, and therefore the ego combined with the grit that she expresses now before life has humbled her. I actually believe all the shit that they used to talk about. So yeah, the more you know, but that's my thing. But Tori's just she's so much. They talk about like their divorce, and she opens up about her divorce. But like Tori's literally living her entire life like a reality show on her podcast. Great, great. It's wildly entertaining. But back to Mary Jo. So they asked Mary Jo about what she thinks of the podcast and what she thinks of like how Tori basically called Dean on the phone and told him that she had filed for divorce, and like this was all publicly played out on the podcast. And Mary Jo says, desperate much? It's just low, low, low. She said, it's just not how you conduct things, which I get. Like, it's a choice, right? But that's the kind of how Tori Spelling has always lived her life. On True Tori, on Home Sweet Hollywood, on Tori and Dean. I mean, in her books, she puts her business all out there. I mean, and this podcast is her putting all of her business out there. Like it is nobody's like talking about pooping in front of her kids. She talks about her ex, and in the Shannon Doherty episode, she was talking about her ex and how her ex used to terrorize her bird. She had a bird, and then the bird like grabbed her nose and like was throwing her. I was like, what is going on? The bird grabbed your face and was like pulling you into the cage and shaking you all around. And she's like, I was like, it's okay, little birdie. It's okay, little birdie. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then she's like, and then I just had blood gushing out. I'm like, it's always something. And then like a couple of episodes ago, she was talking about how she found these weight loss pills that she was telling everybody to take, but they make you shit your pants because they extract oil and fat from the food that you're eating, so you could eat like fried food. But then the tricky part is it then extracts all of that, so you basically, are shitting oil out all the time. And she's like, I was just shitting oil. She was like, I was with my then boo thing, and we went to the hotel, and I sat down on the bed, and next thing you know, there's a big orange spot on the bed because I was just shitting my pants. And she's like, and I learned you can't wear white pants. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Tori Spelling. And then she's like, and then I was telling everybody about this groundbreaking innovation. And the thing was, everybody started shitting their pants. And I forgot to inform them that these pills make you shit your pants because you have no control over it because it's oil. It's literally oil just seeping out. Listen, sis gives us the most. She really does. Stacey says, Zach, do you think Tori would be good on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? She's so different than the other ladies, but I think it would be interesting. She may be interesting as like a friend of. I don't know. Do we want like Tori Spelling's life is just, well, actually, no. I agree. I think she should be on Housewives. And that's another thing that Mary Jo called her out for. She's like, and she thought that it was so thirsty of Tori to be begging to come on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So Mary Jo is not a fan of her, which is interesting because remember when we had True Tori on Lifetime, when Dean had cheated on her and then they decided to pick cameras up and film True Tori. And Tori sat down with Mary Jo and they had like that conversation on the show. Like it was an interesting thing. It was an interesting choice. However, who was that? Was it Jacques? I was talking to somebody about why Tori Spelling would make, or maybe it was Chef Stew. It was someone about how, oh, I gave a little Chef Stew tea in members only as well. But I think that Tori would make a great housewife because she would show us a different side of housewives. We see housewives that marry into money, right? We see housewives that build businesses and that's how they have their money, right? Diana Jenkins, or they marry into their money like Sutton did, right? Or their careers in Hollywood aren't what they used to be, like Lisa Rinna, Garcelle. They're trying to have a career resurgence, or they're in Hollywood because they're working actresses like Eileen Davidson, or they're entertainers like Erica. So we have that side of the housewives. But one thing we have not gotten in any housewife show, well, I guess maybe Claudia Jordan, but on Atlanta. But with Tori, she is from the Spelling dynasty, from Aaron Spelling's legacy. She is his daughter. She grew up in money. She's a housewife that's a mold that we have yet to really see crack, right? On these shows. I've seen Tori Spelling very privileged, grew up, like, seeing her now and her life now, like, yes, it's chaotic. Yes, it's a hot mess. I mean, it's very like Brandy Glanville vibes. But at the same time, I think that it would be interesting to watch, I'm here for having Tori Spelling on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think that it would be a unique perspective. So, yeah, Mary Jo, not a fan of Tori Spelling, calls her out. I think is it a little desperado for her to be begging Andy to put, you know, her on Beverly Hills? Sure, but at this point, like, why not? She's been trying to get on the show for years. I think she even said on the show, she's like, Andy, why won't you put me on? Is it because I'm broke? I'm like, well, bitch, maybe you should stop talking about being broke. Yeah, she is crazy. Speaking of crazy, we have yet another crazy story. Hmm. Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. So Jeannie Mai, you may remember her from The Real. She's also done, a bit of other hosting stuff. She's, has a little TikTok brand with her mom that she's always showcasing. But so she's now going through a divorce with Jeezy. He filed for divorce. She's now fighting the prenup. She doesn't want the prenup to be upheld in the divorce. And she's claiming that the prenup should not be upheld because of abuse allegations that she's now claiming. So she claims that he would have explosive outbursts during their marriage, and that he would often engage in excessive drinking and domestic violence. Okay. She also details specific incidents. There was an incident from January 2022 that was referenced in the court documents, and she claims that he would hurl insults at her and that he struck her with a closed fist across her cheekbone and eye, causing subconjunctival hemorrhage. So it's not Jenny, it's Jeannie. Yeah, I said Jeannie. I didn't say Jeannie Mai. I said Jeannie Mai. So, I mean, these are some big allegations. From what I remember, she felt very blindsided by the divorce. Again, this is going based off of memory. She was having a really tough time with the divorce. She was blindsided that he filed for divorce. So, it's interesting to hear this now that she's now coming out with these allegations of abuse. It seemed like she very much wanted to stay married to him, but I also know that like sometimes when you're in these abusive relationships, there is a bit of like Stockholm syndrome that can come about, or it also comes down to like you accept the love that you think that you deserve, and so there could be a multitude of reasons as to why Jeannie wanted to stay in this relationship with Jeezy, but he's now coming out responding to her allegations, and he's claiming that not only are they deeply disturbing, but they're false. He said, especially coming from someone I love, this malicious attempt to tarnish my character and disrupt my family is ridiculous. It's disheartening to witness the manipulation and deceit at play. And at this time, my main concern is being an active father to our daughter. I continue to fight for court mandated joint custody. So she's claiming that she deserves custody because it's about the well-being of their child, who is still a minor. So she seems to be using these abuse allegations to help fight her prenup and to help fight her custody case. So I mean, I don't know. He's saying it's absolutely false. She's saying this is what happened. I mean, I kind of find it a little crazy for her to be like, yeah, he struck me in the face and, I had a hemorrhage because he struck me with a closed fist. Like, obviously, there would have to be like documentation of that, right? Like, I would assume there would be photos, there would be medical records, like something. I would assume she wouldn't just be pulling this out of thin air. So I don't know. He seems to be very confident that this is false, and he's really hurt that she would make these accusations. And listen, when you look at it, it's like, well, does she have motive? Like, obviously, she wants to make sure that the prenup isn't held up because, she wants some money out of this divorce. She wants custody of this divorce. And he's very much like, nope, we had a prenup. I want to stick to the prenup. And on top of that, I want to have joint custody of our kid. I don't know. Um, I mean, always believe survivors, believe people when they come forth, because it's a big thing to come forth about abuse allegations. But this is an interesting one. But it's always kind of like that, right? There's always two sides, and it's always like, you're going to stand very firm. Somebody's lying. That's all we know. At the end of the day, somebody's lying. Somebody's not telling the truth. And I guess we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. We shall see. We shall see. Dun, 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 dun. Jeannie Mai keeps coupons to save money on groceries. She must have receipts for the allegations if she levied them against him now. I agree, Joe. I'm assuming that if she's going to make accusations and be as specific with these details, then I'm assuming there definitely has to be some sort of proof that she has. Let's see. What else has happened? Ooh, we have an exclusive in the Daily Mail. Vanderpump Rules star Jax Taylor and estranged wife Brittany will reunite at a glitzy White House correspondents' dinner with the Daily Mail alongside SNL co-host Colin Jost and President Biden. Well, that's interesting. Jax and Brittany are going to a White House correspondents' dinner. I mean, these things aren't as like fancy as it sounds fancy, right? White House correspondents' dinner, but it's literally with the Daily Mail. And not only that, this is the same one that like Lisa Vanderpump and Lala Kent and Ariana Madix went to last year. So, I mean, these things happen, but like, I just think it's kind of funny. And people are reacting to, they're like, what? Jax and Brittany are going to be at a correspondence dinner with President Biden? I think it's funny. But these, I mean, they're going to pick whoever they can pick to, you know, do what they got to do. But that's just funny. Um, yeah, that's funny. Um, Ooh, Bravo Babe is reporting that both Teresa and her podcast co-host Melissa P have removed Namaste Bitches from their Instagram bio. Have they had a falling out? What? The T-E, the T-E, the T-E. Whew. I think that's all. I think that's that's all she wrote. Tamara and Vicky are beefing again. I saw Tamara had called Vicky out, saying that Vicky was begging her to come back on, saying that Vicky was begging her to come back on to do the live shows that they were doing. Remember, they had the Trace Amigas live shows. I don't know. I just saw that on Twitter. Christian Grey Snow, who's a big Vicky stan, he was talking about it, and he is not happy with Tamara because she's coming after the OG of the OC. Woohoo! I was conned. I was lied to. Well, they're working. I mean, I'm like, guys, the season is done, and we're still fighting. Can we get it together, Tamara? Listen, one thing Tamara's gonna do is she's gonna call a bitch out. That's what she does. That's who Tamara is. And one thing Vicky's gonna do is she's gonna scream about it. It's my party, and I'll scream if I have to. Well, actually, Vicky doesn't have to scream. She just likes to speak in a very high octave that's very screechy, you know? She's like, if I don't sound like a dying cat, then is it worth it? So, I don't know. Let's see. What are you guys saying in the live chat? They're guests of the media outlet, not personally invited. Yeah, Stacey, they're going with the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is invited into the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But it's just funny to be like Jax Taylor and Brittany Cartwright from the Valley on Bravo are in the same headline for the Daily Mail as President Biden. Like, and they're going to be at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's funny, you know? But the media is going to try to promote themselves the best way that they can. So, who do you want to see back on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? This is interesting. I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday. I mean, Eric and Kyle, I think, are shoo-ins for. Oh, I also revealed some Beverly Hills, not just casting tea, but tea that they're looking to focus on for the new season of Beverly Hills in this week's members only. So, yeah, there's a lot. What was I saying? Shit, I totally lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. Talking about Beverly Hills, I completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. How was dinner? Dinner was great. It was lovely. I had a nice time. Went to dinner last night. We had dinner at Schwartz and Sandy's, which was very dead. I'll tell you that. I was surprised because normally I've gone when they have like a viewing party or when Sandoval and Schwartz are going to be there, and it's popping and it's packed and it's full. It was not popping and not packed and it was not full. But again, I mean, I've had my feelings about Schwartz and Sands. It's a good spot. It's just in a really bad location and not a location, not a destination location, not a location people want to. Oh, who do I want to come back to Beverly Hills? There we go. Kyle and Dorit are back. Garcelle and Sutton are back. Or sorry, Kyle and Erica are back, and Sutton and Garcelle are back. I don't know about Dorit. I think Dorit, they have to bring Dorit back, right? I mean, I talk about it more in members only, but they have to bring her back. There's no way they can cut Dorit. Her stuff with Kyle's going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I mean, it's going to be really interesting because you have Kyle and Erica who are on one island, and then you have Garcelle and Sutton who are on another island, and they're not really like, you need somebody that can kind of mend the group and kind of bring everybody back together. And I don't know if Kyle's really that person anymore. Because one, I don't think Kyle and Garcelle like each other, and two, I think Kyle's getting tired of Sutton's bullshit too. You know, so and Erica, I don't think really cares for either of them either because they've not been very nice to her, but. I don't know. I can foresee Sutton and Erica mending. I mean, they've tried so many times, and then Sutton just always ends up putting her foot in her mouth. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Erica, I thought, is now close to Sutton and Garcelle. No, I mean, I think Erica's a smart reality star and knows when to tolerate people. But that's the issue, is these shows have now become about us being coworkers rather than us being friends, and I have to tolerate these people rather than I want to hang out with these people. I said what I said. All right. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode, or this Friday's special episode of No Filter with Zach Peter. You can catch new episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Streaming live on YouTube's first thing in the morning. Streaming live on YouTube first thing in the morning, with availability on all podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify. If you're listening to this on Apple right now, or if you're watching whatever platform you're listening to this on, actually, can you do me a favor and go leave me an Apple Podcast review, a nice one? I've been getting slammed in them lately, and I'm like, you guys, I think you've dropped my rating down to 4.3. Who would have thought talking about my brother's autism and then going to a dinner with a Kennedy would fire people up so much that they like have this vitriol, like nastiness that they want to spew? Listen, if you don't like me, that's okay. If you do like me, I appreciate that. Leave a nice podcast review. Let me know what you're enjoying about the show or not. I love you. I appreciate you. If you want a personalized message from me, you can always book me on Cameo. Link is in the description below. You can follow me at Just Plain Zach or follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach. Be sure to tune into this week's members only because it is juicy. It's Miss Juicy, baby. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. I will talk to you later, skater. Let's get it. Get it. Get it. I would say welcome on in, but now we're on our way out. So welcome on. Welcome on. Goodbye for now to you, my friends. All right. Bye, guys. Ciao for now. Bye. Bye. Au revoir. Au revoir. Love you, mean it. Bye.